off. Hello, hello. And if you're just joining us, don't rush. Oh, hello. There's a smiley face. We are going to get started, but again, if you're just arriving, just take it easy. We're going to be on our backs with the crown, so the top of our head facing the front of our space. So maybe that's me. So let's lie down. And as we do, I'd suggest let's bring the soles of the feet together, bringing some softness to the inner thighs. And we'll just come down on our forearms as we settle down onto the ground, feeling the back body soften into the ground. Feel the front body release away from the spine. So let's just bring the hands to complement this shape. Let's bring the hands softly, palms down, in the little soft part of the belly between the hip points, feeling the ground beneath the upper arms, closing our eyes, and taking a moment to arrive. We may have already had quite a morning, so let's just take this pause to deliberately create the space for our yoga, for our practice, this deliberate intention of embodiment, of honoring the whole of ourselves, not from the top down, but just learning or experiencing the sense of radiating our energy, pulsing it through all points, areas, dimensions. So let's just uncloak the morning, settle it off the mat. And if you're just arriving, crown of your head is at the front of your space. Just notice for a moment how the shape and the position of our legs, the bending at the knees, the position of our arms, the bending at our elbows, creating this sort of double butterfly effect. Just really emphasizing the space, gently moving away from that midline. And just perhaps draw the awareness up to the head now. And soften that space between the ears. It sounds kind of funny, but just to breathe, just invite the space between the ears to broaden, widen. To release any holding intention or preconceived notions of what we're going to practice, how it will look. And let's just enjoy having the privilege of being present. So let's just now, before opening the eyes, just notice that the eyes themselves suggest that they've already settled down gently, and then just kind of shift the gaze down again, not pulling the muscles around the eyes, but just deliberately unfocusing, if I can say that. And we'll just let the lid slowly rise up over the eyes themselves. Just take a moment to get used to the light. And then let the hands slide off the belly to the floor and bring them palms down. Just let them rest there. And just slowly engage the insides of both legs, pulling the knees inwards together, finding the mat with the bottom of both of the feet, sliding the feet in towards our bottom. And then we're going to let the ankles relax as we bring the knees right above the hips. So the calves are touching the hamstrings. The feet are soft, so there's space in the front of each of the ankles. And just notice that the lower back is away from the mat. And I would keep the softness in the front of the shins. So keep the legs and the feet as they are. We're just going to raise the shins, only the shins. So they're parallel to the floor. That's it. That's it. Lower back, keep it from the mat. You might feel a little bit of feedback in the front of your tummy because that's showing how we're engaged to keep the spine in its natural foundational curve, but also it's hard because it's going to want to sink into the mat. Just check in now with the collarbones. You might have started, the shoulder caps might start to creep in. So just relax the space between the collarbones at the pit of your throat and just, hang around for the upper chest for a moment to invite it to soften, still keeping the legs as they are, nice and raised parallel to the floor. Breathing through that core. And then slowly bring the calves back towards the hamstrings. And as they come in, you're going to soften the lower back into the mat. You can hear it feels so good. Bring the lower back into the mat and bring the hands to the shins gently. Elbows just in line so they're not out like wings. And slowly use the upper chest and back to enhance the opening of the lower back. Maybe rock side to side. It should feel really quite good. And then begin to draw whatever direction through the kneecaps, sort of semicircles, full circles, just maybe releasing the lower back when you bring the knees away from you and then embedding the lower back when you draw the knees in on that circle. Just be creative, something that feels you have movement, it's gentle, feels good, keeps us present. And then start to let the knees open. As they do, the hands can naturally turn in. So you're going to just now bring the hands so the palms face in, the fingers cradle the outside of each shin. Bring your heels as close as you can to your bottom and start to slide the hands down towards the front of the ankles. They're going to have to stop somewhere if you feel closed up in your chest. Stop there and just use the upper chest sort of fill the front of the chest. So the upper chest, fill it in, reach the ground through the upper back, and then start to pull those heels in towards the groin, open the knees nice and wide. Explore this, maybe moving my hands a little closer to my ankles, whatever feels good, wider in the knees, but keep the big toes touching now, okay? That's it. Lower back away from the mat, upper back nice and firmly rooted down, back of the head's feeling the mat, and just take that breath. We'll move deliberately into that first chakra area at the groins, and then let go of that tension. Bring the feet back to the mat and simply come over to one side that feels comfortable. Flip over and find the mat now on all fours. So knees directly under the hips. Your crown should be looking towards your device or the front of your short end of the mat. Let's get those hands beneath the shoulders and nice long shins through the front of the ankles. That's it. Now let's engage. So we're going to bring that resistance. Pull the hands towards your knees towards the hands. Keep your tummy pulled up towards the spine and feel that engagement. Try not to let the back body kind of soften in. Keep it all engaged, and then just push your hips towards your heels. It may not reach. It may. Keep the hands glued to the mat. Pull back up. Don't have the resistance. Resist. Exhale towards your heels. You might feel a lively awakening in the upper chest. Stop the resistance and come to the starting point. Resist and pull back. And up and pull back. And up. And now just gaze down at the hands, and you can imagine, you can play around, and when you do it once, you'll sort of know how big your hands are. But generally, it's one hand above whatever the other. So put one hand above, and that's where you're going to put the hands. It's one hand length ahead. So your shoulders will no longer be above your wrists. That's your sign you got it. Let's bring the knees in towards each other as we do the shins, and bring the shins up. So hamstrings and calves are touching again. Let's take a moment to refine our natural lines from the crown. We feel wide across the top of the shoulders. We feel strong in the front and the upper back, the chest and the upper back, and engage to the core. And start to drift through. You'll feel the kneecaps, the pressure on the kneecaps roll towards your quadriceps. Keep that rolling. Slide forward. Try not to lead with the chin or the throat. think of leading our practice and our life through our heart and our chest. So the neck is staying nice and neutral, and we're just going to maybe offer this chest forward and down towards the ground. You'll feel the strain in the arms. That's okay. Just don't go below the elbows, and just be okay with the strength. Keep the belly tugged up, supporting the spine. You can feel the heat build right away. Straighten the arms and bring those shins back down to the mat. This time, send the arms, keep the hands glued. Send your bottom, stretch out the back body, stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. A long, engaged child's pose. Okay, come back up, set it. Shoulders are well behind the wrists. Lift the calves to the hamstrings. Start to float on that plane, noticing that the chin is, you can swallow, feel the opening in the front of the hips. Just be aware of all these cues, these bodily cues, and then start to offer the posture down and almost like a prostration. Think of Divine Mother, graceful, engaged. Straighten the arms again, feeling the bones stack, not overdo at the eyes and the elbows. Bring the shins down and stretch back, getting out of those wrists. Really soaking up this counter pose, finding the depth as the exhalation leaves the body. One more of those. So come back up, find it, engage it, be present with it, calves to hamstrings. Begin to open the leg creases, roll through the kneecaps to the lower quadriceps and offer that chest towards the ground, not the chin or the throat. Press back up, bring the shins back down, go back, stretching the back body right to the tops of the hands, maybe around the sacrum, whatever feels good. Perhaps focus on opening the underarms towards the floor, whatever kind of feels good. And then come up, bring the hands now in. Oh, sorry, don't come up. Excuse me. Keep the hips towards the back of your mat. Bring the forearms so we're in ready duck. Notice the chest floating above the floor. We're going to move the left arm now and reach it forward and over top of the right. We've done this when we bring both arms. I really enjoy this. So left hand drifts over towards the right side of your space. Keep the left hand rooted. So all the fingers and the thumb. So a nice strong palm. And sort of pull away from that palm, really endeavoring to sort of make quite a deep connection with the left. So the outside of the left shoulder, maybe the upper side ribs. Try to keep the hips stable and still. They're not in this. It's not a full side bend. This is a side shoulder opener. And then relax that intention. You see that if you pull away from that left hand, it's going to sink your whole left side of the body away from your left hand. You'll create the depth that you might be seeking or that is appropriate. Come up and bring that hand back. Wait for a second to let the tissues, just to enjoy. This is the enjoyment, the rahasya, and move it to the other side, expecting nothing, right? Expect nothing. Just move the hand over, explore, be creative. See how it feels. You can keep creeping it over towards the left side, dropping that right side of the body towards the ground, maybe pulling away from that right hand, really focusing on the side of the shoulder and what we're listening into, how we're being cued and present and objective, and then come back. Good. Walk the hands back, coming into that table posture, turning the toes under now, getting them a little bit of a counter pose. Walk the hands back, sitting on the heels as best you can. You know that we're not going to stay here in sort of a yin fashion. So see if you can, if you have to be propped up here, just stay. We're just going to be a moment here to really soak up the benefits of this foot opener. That's it. And then lift the knees. When we get the shoulders over the hips, over the knees, release the tension in the feet for the moment. Bring the hands above the shoulders. Bring the arms together and index fingers together. So bind the fingers, index fingers up. Really create this line. So now the crown of the head is not the tallest, reaching through. It is the mudra through those very pointed fingertips. And just seal up that line. So fingertips to elbows, to the sides of the shoulders wide, to the waist, long and even, to the side of the hips and the sides of the legs. And just start to lean back over. You'll feel the tension creep into your tummy. It is not a back bend, so it should not be felt in the lower back. Feel it in the thighs. Good. And then we're going to move it into Utkatas and Kneeling. So think of Utkatas, and what is it? Shift the weight back when you feel it up and over. Start to hinge at the hips, send the hips towards the heels. Keep the lines clean, strong, and identifiable. And notice, be aware of areas where you don't feel present. That usually is a sign that you need to go there. Like if you're like, I don't even feel my front of my ankles. Oh, there they are. There they are. There they are. Inhaling back up. Let go of the mudra, arms sweep down. Bring the right foot through. Bring the left hand down to the mat, mirroring the right foot. We're going into this deep low lunge. So slowly pick that knee up of the left leg and scooch the leg back for some depth. Before going any farther, let's visit the sole of our right foot and really plug the heel inwards. Feel the ball of the foot broad and the feet. So feel like you're expand the breadth of your feet from the pads of the toes to the toes. That's it. Fire up this left leg, strong, strong heel behind the toes, and start the revolutions of the spine, opening the navel towards the inside of the thigh. Right hand is just on the thigh, resting there, not pushing, not engaging. This way. And then it might feel good to finish off those lines by stacking the right arm up, palm faces away. Fingers are spread, active, and then refine. So fill it in, color it in, reach to the crown, lengthen the body, get more, take up more space energetically and intuitively. Okay. Now, I don't know if we've done this. Let's bring the right hand out of the sky and bring it down to the hip. Try not to press down for the moment, okay? I'm going to go through this slowly because lift the right foot from the mat, keeping the heel down. And start to pivot the right foot out so the toes look to the side, as does the knee. No knee whackiness. Now, as I lift this right heel forward over the toes and plant this outside of the left foot onto the mat. So the right hand's on the thigh. Let's visit the front of the left shoulder, creep it open. Let go of the sole of your right foot and start to open up. Watch your knees. Make sure that it's not in the knees, it's in the right hip. Long, long to the inside of the left leg. So try to reach the inside of that left foot towards the back wall. It's the longest side. Okay, opening that right knee. And then when we close it, just pivot around. The hand comes down. We'll be in this low lunge. Lower this left knee and relax the top of the foot into the mat. At which point we're going to back away from the intensity by pulling ourselves back and stacking over the left knee, putting some work into the left foot. Inhale the arms up out of the hips, creating longer intentional lines. So that balances the downward pull of gravity, balances out the strength of the posture, and brings a heart lightening to it, like so. Very different response. Just reach up. Okay, take the hands and take them away. We're going to bring them down behind at the back of our pelvis, elbows in. And then just sort of be mindful of the space between hip points and your floating ribs. All this area kind of pulls in. Feel comfortable in the lower back, okay? And then simply draw the elbows towards one another and spread the upper chest towards the ceiling, being very mindful of what's happening in the left hip. The neck, there's no dangling of the head. It's all about the upper chest, the collarbones, the squeezing of the shoulder blades around the spine, offering the depth, the balance over that back foot, all things. And then let go, plant the hands, and bring that leg back. Come back to standing on the shins. Left leg forward. Okay, right hand down. Turn that back leg under and plug in the left hip. Really find purchase to the left foot. These are all really intense body cues to keep us incredibly grounded and present and safe. Begin the left hand just resting to open up that chest towards the inner thigh. Send the energy up. If you want to stack the arm, that's it. Yes. Beautiful. That's it. Okay. Bring it down. Right. Sorry, I'm looking. Oh, I just lost. Oh, sorry. I've been looking at you guys, and I just lost my. Oh my gosh. I was staring at you. I'm sorry. I've been looking at everybody, and I just forgot my spot. Well, it happens the best of my. Where am I, Allison? Where am I can't even hear you. Oh, wow. I think that's happened in many years. Oh yes. Okay. Now, because this one. Okay. Bring the left hand down. Lift the toes of your left foot. Bring them out. Lift the heel of your right. Bring it forward. Begin to open. And then peel the left foot from the mat. So when you look down on your posture at your right hand and your left foot, only the pinky side of your left foot is on the mat. The knee is on an angle. The right leg is long, reaching, like trying to stand on the inside of that right leg. Open up the arm in this modification or this option of broken triangle. Reach up, really feel it in your left hip. Good. That's it. And then sweep. So lift up the left foot, pivot it around, bring it down, bring that right knee down and release the foot. Come away. So back away. So knee behind, that left knee behind the left heel. Raise the arms up as we come in, opening the front of the hip. Take a moment to even out the stretch. Not only on the right side, try to lengthen the left side. Sometimes we dump the left ribs in. Arms move away. So the back of the palms look at each other and we'll bring them down to the back of the pelvis. Elbows are working their way towards each other, which will enhance and make an optimal upper chest heart opener. So really mindful of how the chin is resting. It's comfortable, kind of parallel to the floor. And then begin on an inhalation of stretching out the upper chest, opening up the front of the right hip, rooting through the back leg, feeling grounded. Play around with the intensity. Guess what? If you bring that left leg in and kind of traction it in, how does that enhance the depth? If that's what you're looking for. And then pull the belly in, soften that right hip back a little bit, hands to the mat, bring the left leg down, stretch the hands forward, keep them glued and just reach back. You will not reach the heels. Turn the toes under here. Stretch out for a moment, the space under each and every toe, the breadth across the ball of each foot, the arch drawing in towards the bones of the feet and a nice big solid heel, and then power it to plank. Step the toes forward. Just soften pedal here, like one knee to the ground. So we're going to bring the right knee towards the left elbow. But first, don't move. First, bring the heels. Remember, we need to kind of bring the heels forward a little bit. We're going to exhale. The right leg softens and bends, and we draw it towards the left elbow. Squeeze the right waist up. Then we're going to reset the hips and plant that right leg back. Reset the gaze point down. We're going to bring that right knee under our heart. Bring it forward. Try not to let the spine dome. Okay, this is not a doming of the spine. Keep a nice long neutral spine. It won't get too far. And bring it back. Keep the hips stable. And the right knee to the right elbow. Opening up the groin on that right side and bring it back. Do the left side. Left side, knee to right. Square the shoulders. Back. You'll feel the hips neutralize. Knee to the center underneath you. And bring it back. Knee to the left arm. And bring it back. Knees to the mat. Get out of the hips. One last time. Stretch forward. This time, creep them forward. Creep it, creep it, creep it. And then find downward dog. Pedal it in. Find the mat. Reach up. Let's bend our knees together and bring our shins as close to parallel to the floor as we can. And use this bending of the knees to really enhance the length from the ground past the elbows and the shoulders, the waist, through to the hips. Just feel that. Go and visit the tummy. Feel that where the waistband, so the top of the pubic bone to the navel, to the diaphragm, plug it in. And then notice the lower back and try to keep it stable and still as we find our depth again in downward dog, stepping into it. Good. And then let's walk up to the hands. At some point, keeping the feet hip distance apart, the hands will have to come away and find a dangling, so dangling ragdoll. You won't have the belly pressing on the thighs. The neck is relaxed, the head and its weight is drawn towards the ground. Just press the feet in a little more. Find a little more purchase through the feet. You need that foundation in order to inhale to stand in Utkatas. So hands just come to the side. And we'll in Utkatas and stand for a moment. Doing a standing flow, three-point inhale and one exhalation with an audible exhalation. Okay, we'll do it 3 times. Standing here, we'll be going down to the ragdoll. So I hummed and hawed about adding this because if you have low blood pressure, which I don't think anybody today does, just slow it down. So standing with the pinky side of our arms sort of facing the seam of our pants. 3-part inhale. So don't do a full inhale. Inhale a little bit, a third up in front. Inhale again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arabesque them down. Inhale to stand again. Exhale, find the roots through the feet. Inhale, palms to the sky. Inhale, out to the side. Inhale, up from the waist. Exhale, audibly. Press to the feet, roll back up on an inhale, stacking the ears above the shoulder. Exhale into the ground through the feet. Inhale, 1/3. Inhale, open. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Feel the back of the neck. Oh, receive. Inhale. Exhale to the ground. Bring the hands to the heart. Shift the weight into the right foot. Inhale the left leg. I'm going to just down here. Left leg to knee height, ankle beneath the knee. Separate the hands and extend them up from the hips. On an exhale, we're going to bend our standing leg a little bit and we're going to crunch. So squeeze our belly into our spine and dome our back. Make gentle fists. Okay, try it. 1. Squeeze, draw the body into the spine, open the back body. Crown will look to the floor, to the front of the space. Inhale, lengthen back up. Palms will face each other. Exhale, do another one of those. Slightly bend the standing leg, scoop the belly in, rinse, rinse, rinse. One more, inhaling. And exhale, slightly bend, squeeze and dome. So elbows will look to the back of our space. Inhale one more time up, but this time as we bend, we're going to step back long into a long high lunge. Arms stayed where they are. Breathe. Bring the palms together, soften them to the heart. Inhale, take that right knee heel from the mat and make the depth a little stronger. Keep the gaze soft, back of the neck. I just make the work really radiate up from that Divine Mother up into our hips, heating, swirling around. Find the mat one more time with the heel. Keep the hands where they are. We're finding the arrow lunge. So just clickety-clack until you feel the ears in line with that back ankle, the hips neutral. Bring the right arm across the right thigh and find the mat with the left foot on an angle. Left one just sweeps all the way up. When it gets up, the right one extends down the inside of the right leg. And we're in a wide angled Parsvakonasana. Strong in the back leg, strong in the front. Nice and long on the right waist if you can master. I probably don't think your right hand can get to the floor without collapsing your right ribs. So just point. That might be a little bit of the head game. Then sweep that top arm all the way around. Plant it on the mat and dome the back. Feel it really stretch into the left side of the back. Let the crown of the head look to the floor. Just explore this space in the left side of the body. Then pivot the back foot. Find the mat with the right hand. So that's supporting. We're going to go into a standing splits or something like that. Right? So just play with it. Coming to straightening that right leg, reaching the left leg up, up and away. Doesn't matter where it goes. Just have this idea of a leg to the sky, the crown to the ground. And then bring it all the way down to the mat and take a full tuck. You can take an extra breath here. We're going to step into half stand from here. Half stand. Utkatas and arms extend out of the shoulders, big broad upper back, full footed on both sides. Urdhva Hastasana with the legs planted, the arms reaching. All the way back down. Shift the weight into the left leg. Bring the right leg up, knee height. Extend. Feel strong and tethered. Arms up. Now we're going to squeeze. Softly bend the standing leg and squeeze the front of the body in as we roll. Bend over. Elbows will look to the back of the space. The back of the neck will look to the sky or somewhere about that. Inhale, balancing up, opening the palms when we come to this lift. You don't have to close your palms if you'd rather not. Bend, scoop, but mobility, transitional balancing, strength, and up. Last one. And scoop. Really feel the opening of the back, the squeezing of the front. Inhaling, let go of the fists if you had it. And step all the way back, arms stay up. Lift the heel. Really focus on opening the space between the back leg and the front, opening the front of the right hip to the front of the space. Palms come together, down as we lower the heel, hands come to the heart. Find that hinge. Yeah. And just take a moment to, well, I'm seeing a few knees that are falling in. So be very, very aware and present in what's happening with that front standing leg and how it feels, the strength of the hip drawing in towards your groin, not away. Left hand crosses the left thigh. Right foot finds the mat. We're going to bring this right arm up. When it does, open the left arm to the inside of the leg and just soak up that wonderful stretch on the inside of this left leg. That's it. Okay. Right arm sweeps down, around. Stretch out the right side of the back. Accentuate one part over the other if it feels better. So for me, it's a lower back versus back of my ribs. Pivot, find the mat with the left hand. And do a couple. So this can be just dynamic lifting of the back leg. Otherwise, start to lift it up and away, crown to the floor, foot to the sky. Just let that blood pool in the head. The head is below the heart here. Very interesting. Bring that right foot down to match the left. Take your full tuck. evening out the work and the conversation between the two sides of the back body. Pressing up into half stand, lengthening through the crown now, really tilting the pelvis. Now our legs are all warmed up. We have that reach, bending at the knees, arms coming out from the shoulder, facing one another. I would spread the hands, which keeps that dynamic push me, pull you feeling, and then stand to Urdhva Hastasana and bring the arms back down. Find the footing. It should be okay and hip distance apart. Taking the arms up. Now, if this sort of space feels that you've shortened and squeezing your neck, that's a sign that you just kind of might want to modify by letting a softness come to the elbows. So straighter arms is going to make it much more challenging to keep space here. We're doing a side bend with the bind. So we're going to exhale to the right and refine. Notice if we sunk the top side of the body down, reach, lengthen, grow the roots. And it's done with the breath. Just visualize the energy of our body reaching down to the core of the earth and how strong and connected we are and safe. Inhale back up and go to the other side, exploring the side bend, other side, finding the space, finding the squeeze, finding the reach, remembering to soften the elbows if you're feeling pain in the neck. Inhaling. Let's go. Exhale to the other side. Smooth. You can even visualize underwater. You can plant up in and just flow to the other side. Inhale initiates the movement, comes up, and the exhale initiates. And the inhale, just feel open, no hard edges. Oh, up and over. And up, let go of the hands. Bring them down to shoulder height. Palms will face the ground for a moment. It seems incredibly easy, but this is a very wonderful posture for lots of reasons. But one is arm and upper back strength and chest strength. And really learning how to work the arms from this web of interconnectedness here. They're not stuck to the edge of our body. So kind of whatever imagery I work with inside of a golf ball, just take up space a little bit more, wider, reach away from the spine with the shoulder blades, keep the gaze soft, and then press them down as if you're moving through something very thick, down towards the side of the body, and just feel the neck get long across the top of the shoulders. That's it. We're going to be stepping back with the right foot and doing Ashtanga style. So right foot steps back, lift the toes, and move to the back of the mat. It's Trikonasana, so slightly shorter. And let's play around with this hip. You don't want to feel all stressed out in the front of your left hip. That's a sign you're dumping into the femur here. So you want to make sure that feels, you can put your hand there, it should feel slightly spongy. If it's hard, you're dumping. If it's all soft and flubby-dubby, that means you're sticking your bottom out. And just always nice to have this hand there. You can find your way. Maybe let's bring the right hand to cradle the right ribs. So we feel what it's like when they're neutral and everything's stacked in its comfortable fashion. We're going to lean over, asking this hip to release its hold on our leg by coming over and being very mindful of what's happening in the right side of the body. Adjust the footing where you need to. And then let's take the hands from these 2 points and slowly spread them like wings. So really feel what we're doing. Taking up space through that heart line laterally, down into the ground through the standing legs, ethereally through the crown of the head. Very strong lines. We want to open up all the lines next to them. So just play around within the shape that we're creating which will look different for every single one of us. Let's look down at the toes of your right foot. Inhale back up. Take the hands down. Lift the toes of the right, bring them back. The toes of the left, bring them back. So we'll be facing the front of our mat. Again, let's go to these 2 reference points. Play around with hips. That's where it's playful. So let's not statically crunch our way into something. Let's let it evolve. Let it grow. So left hand cradles. It's nice to touch too, because we really touch. And then strong legs, big wide feet. Tilt over. Let this leg move within this hip as it's warmed up. The hip is warm and allowing for the space to be created. Reach down the inside of that front leg, okay? You'll feel how much more stable as you go into flight. So take the arms up and away. Adjust the neck where you feel you need to. Find the root to the earth's core evenly through both legs if you can. Okay, not just the left one. The back one is really on the same. And no, it does not have to be left hand to the floor. I rarely do that. Look down at the toes. Inhale back up. Exhale down. Pivot. Step through to the top of the mat. Take a moment in standing with the feet together, a little closer, and the heels slightly apart, like you're going to Samastitihi, but we're not going to. We're going to polish it off with tree. Right side is the standing leg. Left leg comes up to wherever you're comfortable, not the inside of the knee. Bring the hands this time to the space between the eyes at the third eye. Soften the gaze. Feel the cheeks around the sides of the mouth. Just softening, smoothing. Notice the shoulder blades actively move into the spine. And then slowly feel ourselves honor up, up, grow it up. Lift the corners of the mouth. Soak in the goodness. And the hands back down. Just tap. And finish at the heart. When we change sides, close this left knee up, put it down, try not to move around, wiggle. If you're struggling with balance, just take hold of a chair or something, you know what we're doing. You don't have to watch me or anything. Go to the other side. Establish that tethering. Complement it with the mudra. Take the arms above, the mudra above, accentuating the line skyward. Eyelids soft. Bring the hands back down, tapping to the heart. Close it up. Separate the hands, soften the chin towards the chest, but keep the dome of the rib cage neutral. So I'd rather you not feel you collapsed and open up the upper back. Try to learn how to soften the chin, neutral trunk. And then we're going to roll down however it feels good on however many exhalations all the way down. So you're just collapsing. Think again of those puppet strings and you just standing legs. You might even be able to notice the filling in the fingers as the blood reverses. So head below the heart. And come down. I've noticed a lot of us like to do a wiggly woggly. Let's find our own expression of this. If you want to go for more of a tuck, to accentuate opening the lower back, do so. You want to enjoy the dangle, which I kind of like, and just like, ugh. Don't rush it. Okay. And you have time, so if you want to hang out for another breath or two, it's fine, because it's not complicated what we're doing. We're going to flip and find the mat, and all of us will step back and find child's pose. So you can do that at your own pace, flipping the feet. This time, bringing the hands back with us, offering the forehead towards the ground. Either rowdy duck if that feels better for your spine, or go into this full arms down by the feet, palms facing up. Come up and drop yourself down to left bottom on the floor, left side of your hip on the floor, heel, heel. Some people put their foot in. I'd rather you just kind of stay with them together. Plug in your left waist. It will want to bow out or bow out. Left hand supports us somewhere. You can't get it toward the spine, so don't overdo. And let's just take this mermaid twist, tall in the trunk. Ooh, don't think you heard that. Really feel the benefits of the twist. So delightful. You know, some twists are great for spring practices for offering renewal, like a whole practice. And you'd be surprised how many things you don't think are twists, but that are. And then undo, shift, transition over to the other side. Find the reach down, plug the right side in. Feel nice and proud, tall. Again, its nickname is Mermaid Twist. So I do envision myself on a big rock in the middle of the ocean. Come up. And start the breath work over to the right. Come back, shift to center. And then we're going to find the mat with the forearms. So slide them up. Oh, that would be nice just to go all the way down, but we're not going to. Forearms, spread the fingers so they offer a nice wide berth down, and just start to step the knees back. Find the mat, flip the feet for a moment. Press the ground away. So you'll feel sunk in the shoulders. So press the ground away so that you just feel the pubic bone or navel. Sort of plug that area in. Look at the space, give or take, between the thumb tips. Turn the toes under. Really walk them under, stretch them. Pull the belly in and the whole body off the mat, and just walk the knees forward by one knee length, most likely. You'll kind of get to use to how long your legs are, and stretch those heels towards the back wall, and find that line that feels so good. When everything's gone wonky in this world, when you find these kind of postures that are so, there's no curving. I mean, there is natural of your spine, but everything has its place, everything in its place, everything strong, and the breath work just fills the shape. Fill it, fill it. Feel okay with suspending ourselves from the top of our feet, the forearms. It's also a great opportunity to get rid of that staleness. Feel what this power in our tummy here. One of the best things for core work, but just feel how you can expunge all that we no longer need here. It's a great posture if you're feeling full of staleness and stuckness, you know. And then feel the rinse now, slowly but surely find the ground through the knees. As we let the hips go down, which is the heavy part of us, do it slowly, no flopping, and then reach through the feet, flip them. Again, stay here for a moment And then find your Sphinx, but do it slowly so you get to reap that richness from first stretching the chest forward and up, then pressing the ground away through the forearms and the hands, and then calling those shoulder caps into the body, squeezing the shoulder blades, so much going on. Adjust the neck so you feel comfortable. Feel the backs of the arms start to give us grief. Just breathe into the front. And then we're going to come down. Remember, elbows out, palm, forehead on the back of the hands. Just soak in here for a moment. Pineal gland is behind here. Then let go of the strength in your tummy and your hips by just rocking gently side to side, soothing. And then we're going to take the rinsing the back bend into cobra. So lift head, separate the hands, bring them underneath the shoulder. So the tops, elbows, draw them in. Keep gazing down and notice how the chin is. Again, I can't say it enough. Let's not move from the neck. Let's not move from the chin. Let's move from the heart. So plant the hands, start to lift up, refine elbows towards the floor and towards the back, and just stretch out what we just engaged so strongly in that forearm plank. Really get it. Oh, yeah. Okay, pull up, walk back, and we're just going to try this again. So come back to where we were before we just did that. Come sit, stand on your, or sit kneeling. And you're called to know, so it's coming to neutral. Some of us move faster or slower. That's why sometimes class formats can be challenging. I take often a long time to get between postures. That drives people crazy. And now we're going to do that mermaid twist after we just did that. I don't know. I thought it's kind of an interesting inquiry. Does it feel different? Let's come over, plunk the left. There's no thinking, just enjoy the journey. So find the twist. Maybe we feel more in tune with our lower belly engaged in this twist, and we start to feel the revolutions more thoroughly instead of maybe just at one part of the spine, or especially the neck, which is the most mobile, of course. And we'll just undo, shift the weight. You can hang out on the top if you want, or just send your weight. So lean forward, because that will help get depth through your glutes on the right side. Find the height supported with the right hand. Find the snuggling in of the right side, and just enjoy going the other side and see, maybe we are in tune a little bit more after that. What we just did, the tummy work, the stretch, the back bend, followed by a twist. Okay. Undo. Shaped like this, we're going to go to downward dog. So whatever that means for you, stretch yourself up, take up the space on your mat, travel there, take time, or go there into the shape right away. Let's fill it up, pellet it out. Visit the ribs and the back of the ribs. Envision the lungs, the heart floating perfectly in the center of the dome. And we're going to action through the ankles, step up. Separate the feet. We'll just take a moment, either grabbing the hands or the shins, whatever kind of feels good for you, and collapsing into the spine here. Indued. So now feel this counter pose, spreading out the back of the body, sinking the front body. Those lungs and the heart sure don't feel in the center of the dome now, do they? I could stay like this for a long time. Okay, plug it back up. Send this left leg out, flexing the ankle so the toes look to the ceiling, and bring the sole of the right foot in. We've done this, but I'm hoping that it feels really good. Okay, we're not going to do the side bend. We're going to be doing this. So right arm lifts, opens to the front of the space. Feel engagement in the upper back. Lean with it. So try not to, it's not like this. Okay. Lean, reach forward, forward. Wait for it for a second. Breathe into the upper right side of the back, and then plug this right hand down somewhere on this left leg or the foot if you can reach it comfortably without straining. Slide the left hand to the floor somewhere and start to offer the right side of the body, especially the front, down towards the ground. How's that feel? So there's a lot going on. Like Janu Sirsasana, it's a forward fold, so it's cooling, it's calming, it's introspective. You can see how the heart is not primary, it's not spreading energy all over the place. We're containing it. We're sort of like replanting our own energy, restoring, and then lift it back up. And don't do that, the counter pose with spreading the chest. Just stay with this sort of turn in the hand down and just simply go to the other side slowly but surely. You know the shape. There's no thinking. There's just let the body move on its own, find its way, or find our way through proprioception, interoception. Lift the left arm up. Reach it forward. Right shoulder height, parallel to the floor. Keep it going somewhere it feels really good. Might stay there. See, this is where I'd probably come to somebody and reach my hand and pull you a little bit farther because it feels so darn good. And then find your grip or your hold wherever it's going to be and begin to create the shape in the offering, right? Feel the difference of forward folds to twisting forward fold. And because we've closed this seal, so we're touching some part of this right leg, you know, it'd be nice if you can do the foot, it's think of or sense restoring and recycling. This is a posture because we've made a loop with our energy. We're giving back to ourselves. We're folding over. We're cooling. At the same time, honoring the earth because we're folding over her. And then just come back up. Bring the legs together and the arms. Close the eyes here. And let's keep the eyes closed. But of course, it's your choice. But I suggest just keeping the eyes closed. Let's make our way down as we did at the opening. But this time, the soles of the feet are into the mat. We're finding constructive rest, slowly lowering ourselves to the back of the head. Bringing the feet to where we feel comfortable, supported. Take the arms, bring them again softly to the lower belly. Just notice the chewing surfaces of the teeth remain apart. The muscles in the face, across the head are soft and yielding. As are the muscles in the chest. Everything's allowing softening away from the spine, a melting into the ground. Soaking up our practice. And then if it feels nice, by all means, stay in this shape, cradling the belly. Perhaps there's some noise happening like mine, which is always a good sign. Or begin to go into your closing shape, whatever that may be, Shavasana, is just one of them. But I suggest if you go in Shavasana to let the hands fall out too, just to enhance this puddling nature of the posture, this unhooking, this absolute yield. If you're staying in constructive rest, you're going to get more soothing benefits for your psoas, as the femurs themselves can just sink with every exhalation in, and the holding of all the muscles of the pelvic bowl soften and release. Perhaps of this calling or this offering of whatever shape that you've settled into, allowing that exhalation to invite you in and sort of have this sense of that unifying fascia that's throughout all the muscles, the ligaments, the bones, and have this sense that it's just unhooked everything. The space between every single fiber is opened up, nourished, warmed, happy, and whole. Very gently start to notice how the inhalation, soundless and without effort, seems to fill in those spaces that have been created by our practice. Spaces of opening, softening, even of strengthening and warming. And just begin to surface through those layers, recognizing the outer physical layer, perhaps even following into the space, our radiating energy bodies into the space around us. Just come to your side. You can stay there as long as it feels good. Gently come up to sitting. Just getting our equilibrium by bringing our head above our heart and hands wherever they rest comfortably. And just one more breath. Feel again the space between the ears, the space around those vital organs of the lungs and the heart, the space in the back body, the kidneys, and the adrenals, the space of all those soft organs, digestion, elimination, and reproduction. And just feel that support of the ground. And we'll just bring the hands just up, and we'll just lean in our forehead into the hands just to close in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for sharing today.